Hey everyone, Tibble Hunks Adventure here, back for another short video. Today, I want to talk about if any of you have ever experienced liminal places in real life. For me, one memory that kind of comes to mind when this occurred was after I had taken a trip out to the Oregon coast. We had flown out there to go on a vacation. And my in-laws, they drove out there. They had met us there. My wife and I had flew. So when the vacation was over, they dropped us off at PDX, and then they drove back home. And we got there early, which is kind of surprising, honestly, because trying to get there, we had arrived, I think it was like 6 hours early, because we had checked out. My in-laws didn't want to stay forever because it was a long drive home for them. But the freeway was so backed up. I think it was like a good hour, 2 hours that we got stuck in traffic. So I suppose it was good we arrived early. But nonetheless, we got there. And now I think about it, I think we actually arrived there with 6 hours of time before our flight and everything like that. And so we go through the process, go through security and everything like that, and start walking to find our terminal. And one thing we notice is there's no people. We go through, and you get into this terminal area. It's a really cool airport. There's a lot of cool art and things set up for you to kind of look at. But all throughout that area, there were just no people. The shops were closed. They weren't even open. The ones that couldn't have been pulled down, the lights were out. No one was stationed there. We get over to our terminal, no people either, just fully empty seats. It was a very surreal experience, and it's really odd. It was cool having the place to ourselves, but also really weird having the place to ourselves. And kind of just hung out for a little bit, relaxed, and decided we wanted to explore. Why is this place so empty? Where is everyone? And started, kind of just looking around. And one thing we also did was just, take a look at the art. We're admiring the cool sculptures and installations and everything like that. And we ended up venturing all the way back out until we found one of the other terminals or wings of the airport. And, there were people there. They were waiting for planes and everything like that. So there were people at the airport. It wasn't that it was fully empty by any means, but just that terminal that we're at, because there were no planes or anything coming for hours and hours, there was no need for people to be there, workers or, even people waiting for flights, unless they arrived really, really early. But I just remember that being such an odd experience, and waiting for what felt like an eternity. And I think it wasn't until maybe an hour to an hour and a half before the flight scheduled would be arriving, that things started happening. People slowly started appearing and pouring in. The little kiosks and stores that sell things, workers were showing up and opening them up. And one of the giant areas that was once empty, which did have a piano, now had someone there playing the piano. And everything was just so lively and joyful, and just, a complete change from what it had been hours before. And I just don't think I've ever experienced that at an airport before. And yeah, definitely a liminal experience to me. And I actually did a mindfulness meditation video on this. Now, I don't know if it's up on my other channel or yet or not, but I kind of go through that process of being in a liminal airport setting and just exploring it, and there just not being anyone there, and having easing into it and everything like that, but feeling a bit uncertain. And eventually, a distant lullaby or noise kind of draws your attention, which eventually does lead you to an area where there are people and music, which is coming from the piano player and so forth. And it's a really good mindfulness meditation that kind of takes you on that journey and has a nice conclusion.
So if that's something you're interested in, be on the lookout for that, especially if you want to subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. Yeah, that's kind of it for this video. I just wanted to kind of talk about a liminal experience that I've had in my life. I'd love to hear if any of you guys have had liminal experiences in your life as well, and if so, please share those down in the comments. But that's going to do it for this one. So stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one.